there was a darkness stuck inside of this area. And people were calling out to be saved, to be relieved from this pain. And so I saw, though, that the light was going to come through, that right now, that all this light was going to come through. So they asked me to open the doors to reality, to our unconscious, to everything, so that the light could come through and wash away all of the dark images, all of the dark astral stuff that's been stuck, a lot of stuff that's in the collective human unconsciousness. It's all going to get washed away. And people who are really, truly good people, even if you have demons, at first the things that are going to come are going to attach to you. They're going to seem like demons. I'll get to you in a second. I'm trying to read what you say. They're going to be like demons at first, but if you can hold light, you're going to transmit light to those things, and they're going to transform into angels, is a part of what they're talking about. And if you can't hold light, people who are really, really bad people who just listen to the darker side of their nature, those people are going to be destroyed, and they're going to be washed away with the darkness things that are attached to them. And there's no way to fully tell what a person has going on inside of them. It's really a matter of how much that you can love and that you can overcome the hatred or the anger and stuff. And that's really important because there's all kinds of archons ready to feed on whatever's left, So I don't like that at all myself, but okay. So yeah, but it will create one world and one nation under one power that is created. That's going to happen naturally, though. The people who are trying to create a one world government and stuff, they may want to emulate that, but they're like, human beings can never emulate perfection of a higher world. Oh yes, there we go. I meant to talk to you. I meant to answer your stuff. Do you think we started to communicate with words instead of minds talk? Yeah. In the past, in the ancient, love and light, travel. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. There you go. Here, well, in the ancient past, during the Golden Age, people could communicate purely psychically, and you would use words to underline the psychic communication.
Well, words were also magical. The actual utterance of something is, of course, a vibration.
It is.
Understood everything was a vibration, low to high. So to speak was literally magic. It was literally to conjure, to change the air, to transmute vibrationally matter through sound.
Yeah.
So they didn't just sit and gibber about nonsensical crap. I mean, they might do that telepathically, perhaps, but I seriously doubt they were, discussing the price of tea or some shit like that.
Yeah.
They were, rearing their civilization, moving higher, moving throughout the planes, moving throughout the universes. Mm-hmm. And the nice thing about telepathy is there's not only no need for lying, there's no possibility of it.
No, exactly. That's one of the reasons it's the Golden Age, is because people are at such a high level. Exactly. Spelling, she says. Yeah, that is such a high level of consciousness that, that you can read each other's minds. And when people run into angels are at the level that people in the Golden Age were at, in a sense. The ones that you see that might be like, oh, was that a man or was that an angel? Those guys are basically Nordics, and they're at a higher level than we are, but they're still people. So, but in a way they're angels because they are from another dimension. Certainly. And they are they do watch over us, sort of. So it's kind of like they kind of are. But they're at that level, especially in the places where they live. You can communicate at such a deep level. Like the older ones, they can see everything you've ever done. Just the way they describe an angel can see your whole life and everything about you. They can see everything, And it's weird. DNA, divine natural abilities, aka healing, telepathy, clairvoyance, etc. All these abilities. Yeah, it's exactly. It's right. It's like we have part of the DNA active, and the other part we have to activate. We've forgotten how to do it. It's not turning the faucet on. Yeah. It's learning how to not turn it off. Yeah. I know that sounds stupid, but it's already flowing. Yeah. You just can't access the flow. Yeah. I mean, a lot of what's going on is that like I said, the human mind, the consciousness had so much darkness stuck inside of it that every time a person started opening themselves up, They started seeing like werewolves, say in the Middle Ages, you know, witches everywhere and stuff. And things do exist they do exist in parts of reality, but it's like where your consciousness tunes is where the whole of humanity goes. It's like we do create our own reality to a great degree. So if we have darkness inside of us, we create darkness, you know, which is one of the reasons they keep our minds at this level of 3D. Because, so like I said, when in the past, during the Kali Yuga, during this last dark ages and stuff, we would create dark things with our minds, you know? And that's like the Jersey Devil is a great example of that.
Ugh.
The Jersey Devil, I'm convinced, is a tulpa. And here's why. The family, the Lee family, were actually pretty intelligent people. They put out an almanac that competed with Ben Franklin's almanac, believe it or not. And Ben Franklin was dead set against him, okay? And the rumors started to be spread that the guy who had the almanac, Lee's almanac, was a wizard. And apparently he was a wizard. And here's the interesting thing. The Jersey Devil, the way it's described, is like a wyvern, which is the exact thing that's the crest of the family for Lee's. So it's basically, I think he created a tulpa to try to protect himself, and it's still running around. That's how powerful people are. People still see it. The man's dead. You know, he's been dead for a long time. I'm just saying, we are powerful. This is one of the reasons we were in 3D, is because when, like, look at horror movies. All those things exist inside of us as a people. That's what they're talking about, you know. And it's like, yes, it gives you possibilities, but when you become godlike, you can't just manifest stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to, because you're writing a story, you're creating a reality somewhere every time you do. And I have only just realized that recently. Okay, we're not even close to done with this, so let me get into there. That time is not far off. It will become when the Saskahoa, the blue star Kachina, dances in the plaza and removes his mask. He represents a blue star, far off yet invisible, which will make its appearance soon. The time is foretold by a song sung during the Wuchim ceremony. It was sung in 1914 before World War I, and again in 1940 before World War II, describing the disunity, corruption, and hatred contaminating the Hopi rituals, which were followed by the same evils spreading over the world. The same song was sung in 1961 during the Wuchim ceremony. Okay, and it's again, the next thing it's going to talk about is the emergence of the fifth world, because it's very close. Sometimes they talk about stars, like if you and I were on a very high spiritual level and we could travel along the electromagnetic pathways between the stars, which is what these higher beings can do. They're higher than us. They're not all highest there is, but they're higher than us. They're like angels, and they can take bodies and stuff. They can appear as, you know, humans, because they and we could do that. And we went to any planet, any place and we could represent ourselves as soul, as the sun, the spirit of our sun, because your soul, your spark, the spark that's you, is a piece of that, in a sense, wrapped in the Earth's magnetic fields. So it's like the sun is in a way really your father, and in a sense the Earth is truly your mother, but it's of the magnetic fields and the little quantum things that you're made up of, which is so much more important than the flesh anyway. But the flesh gives you, it gives you a structure. And if you could do that, you could travel all over, take another body somewhere else, and you could wake up and I'm the spirit of soul, I am the spirit of the sun here, this and that. And you are the spirit of your son. And it wouldn't matter. But only a very powerful being could do that, Oh, thank you. I work on my side profile. When I was all sick, everything got all loose and slack. So I started, but the derma roller helps too. But yeah. So it's like there are great people, human people who've done this too, yogis and stuff. But there are people all over who went to a lower level of consciousness and then came to a higher level, and they realized themselves to be aspects of their star, and they can travel and they can appear. They can even take over other bodies. Sometimes they can manifest a form if they're very powerful. Sometimes they might have forms waiting. It depends, like I said, on how advanced you are. I haven't been so advanced that I could materialize a form, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. But I know for a fact there are bodies sometimes that are just like cloned bodies that wait for people. And, in this sense, there could be a being that shows up that's the star Sirius, and that he is a person from Sirius. He's a spark of that. And he could, in the sense that's blue. Or, actually I've seen some really interesting visions of blue people. Like there's like my friend that I tell you, my higher dimensional friend that I tell everyone that I have a higher dimensional relationship. It's weird because in the early part of my life he's a father to me, but he's also more than that. It's kind of weird, but so it's confusing for me. But lately I've been seeing him in places, and he's been showing himself as blue, and it makes me wonder about things, Like he's the doctor. He calls himself the doctor generally. And the doctors and everything. Raphael is the doctor. He's the doctor of heaven. You know what I'm saying? He's the doctor. He's Vishnu. He's all kinds of stuff. But the guy I know is probably a priest of that. There's levels, but he's been showing himself as blue. So I'm thinking there might be a connection. I definitely think there's a connection. There's like a Christ connection to this blue figure, because, like I said, they often show Vishnu as blue. I've been seeing a blue figure showing up in like different omens. It's been, like I said, sometimes I see stuff and it's like private stuff from my life is being played out, And then there's like this blue figure. So there's like this figure, but it wasn't always blue. But lately I've been seeing blue. It's interesting. I can go into it, but that's a whole synchronicity symbolism thing, and it's so crazy. So, it's so intense and shit. Anyway, let me go on. The emergence of the fifth world has begun. It's being made by the humble people of little nations, tribes, and racial minorities. You can read this in the earth itself. Plant forms from previous worlds are beginning to spring up as seeds, as described in SW2. Effects coming. That's something, another paper, sorry. This could start a new study of botany if people were wise enough to read them. The same kinds of seeds are being planted in the sky as stars. The same kinds of seeds are being planted in our hearts. All these the same, depending how you look at them. That which makes the emergence of the next fifth world. See, okay, and what I can see from this is I've been telling people my opinion is that we should all go off grid, and form small communities and let the bigger world just collapse, because it's going. I have been shown, I've been shown visions of this time, and it's like a weird sense of deja vu. But the wall was a big one for me it was a sign, like we're being locked in. It's not so much about locking them out. It's more about locking us in. That's what the wall's about, okay? But carbon tax is about locking you down, keeping you from traveling. So that's where the left tells you that, and the right does the wall. You see, the passports needed to go to Mexico, so you didn't need before. The new types of IDs you need, all that stuff is about locking people down. And that was one of my first signs. But this stuff going on, I see, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I do see that somehow the United States is going to break up and restructure at some point. Time is always in flux, so it could change, but that's what I'm seeing right now. I'm a star seed, and I volunteer, to get my remembrances back. I do have I do. I have that too. It's like exactly, like you could be a star seed in the sense that your soul originated in the heart of a different star, and it comes down here, and that's why you feel like you are from another planet, but it's your soul that comes, and your body's from this planet, mostly. And indigos are actually indigos and crystals and stuff apparently are actually natural creations of the earth, and they come at different times. And you can be both a starseed and an indigo, of course, because they're created from the different